Hello, dear listeners, and welcome to Dreamy Sleep Tales. Tonight, allow your mind to drift away from the mundane as we embark on a journey into a realm where magic and mystery intertwine. Picture a forest bathed in twilight, a place where every rustle of leaves and whisper of wind carries the secrets of ancient lore. In this enchanted world, each step leads you deeper into a serene dance between dreams and reality, inviting you to leave behind the chaos of your day and embrace a night of wonder and peace. Let your imagination wander as you follow the gentle path of our tale, where every moment is a promise of comfort and discovery. Now, settle in and prepare to be transported to a world where enchantment reigns and your dreams are cradled by the soft, timeless whispers of nature. Asher stepped into the forest with only the silvered twilight to guide him. The ground underfoot was soft with moss and scattered petals, and each step awakened a chorus of gentle rustles and distant murmurs. The world behind him had faded into a hazy recollection as the forest's mysteries beckoned him forward. He followed a winding path that twisted through ancient groves and past shimmering pools of water, reflecting the moon's first timid glow. Each bend in the path revealed new wonders. Clusters of luminescent fungi clinging to tree roots, delicate strands of dew that sparkled like miniature galaxies, and whispers of unseen creatures stirring in the underbrush. There was a sense that every living thing in this place had a story, a secret meant only for those brave enough to seek it. After a while, the forest opened into a natural amphitheater, a circular glade embraced by towering trees whose branches formed an intricate canopy overhead. In the center, a cluster of stones arranged in a natural circle bore ancient runes that pulsed with a soft internal light. Asher's heart quickened. He approached the stones, feeling as if the ground itself was alive with memories. The air in the glade was charged with a serene energy that resonated deep within him, and he sensed that this was a place of meeting, where past, present, and future converged. From the center of the circle emerged a figure draped in robes that shimmered like liquid silver. The figure's eyes, deep and knowing, regarded Asher with a quiet intensity. "I am Melis," the guardian spoke in a voice that blended with the rustling leaves. and I watch over the crossroads of memory and destiny. Here in this glade, every whisper of wind and every glimmer of light speaks of the journey you must undertake. Melis extended a graceful hand, and as Asher reached out, the stones began to glow more brightly, illuminating intricate patterns carved into their surfaces. They depicted scenes of ancient travelers, battles fought in the name of hope, and moments of quiet magic when the world was young. Asher felt a surge of understanding. These were not just relics of the past, but guides meant to inspire his own path. Melis's voice softened as she continued. Beyond this circle lies the Vale of Echoes, a realm where your inner self will confront both light and shadow. Only by embracing every facet of your being can you unlock the true magic of this forest. Walk forth with courage and let your heart be your guide. With that, Melis slowly receded into the ambient glow, leaving Asher alone with the resonant hum of the ancient stones. Compelled by her words, Asher moved on. The trail led him deeper into a part of the forest where time itself seemed to slow. Here, the trees were older and their trunks wider, their bark etched with the scars of centuries. The air was cool and heavy with the scent of damp earth and wild herbs. Every so often, he caught a glimpse of movement in the corner of his eye, a flash of silver or a swirl of mist, hints of the forest's guardians watching from afar. It wasn't long before he reached a gently curving stream. The water was impossibly clear, flowing over smooth pebbles and forming tiny cascades that sang a lullaby as they tumbled over each other. Sitting at the edge of the stream was a being of light, a spirit whose form shifted like the ripples in the water. Its eyes were deep pools of serenity, and its voice was like the soft hum of distant bells. "I am Silas," the spirit announced, "the keeper of the flowing currents of dreams. Here, at the banks of this enchanted stream, lies a lesson in letting go. Watch how the water moves, ever adapting, ever forgiving the obstacles in its path." Silas gestured for Asher to sit beside him on a smooth stone, warmed by the gentle glow of twilight. As Asher did so, he allowed himself to be drawn into the mesmerizing rhythm of the stream. Each ripple told a story of transformation, of surrendering to the natural flow of life. In that moment, Asher understood that, like water, his journey would require him to yield to forces beyond his control and trust in the inherent wisdom of the forest. Refreshed by this quiet interlude, Asher resumed his trek. The path wound upward into a gentle incline where the trees thinned and the night sky revealed itself in scattered stars. The cool air carried hints of distant lands and ancient lullabies sung by unseen voices. With each step, he encountered signs of the forest's ancient magic. A lone firefly casting a solitary beam of light. A vine that curled around a tree trunk in an intricate pattern, as if trying to convey a message. As he ascended, a sudden clearing opened before him, framed by a copse of silver birch trees. In the center of the clearing stood a stone pedestal, worn smooth by the passage of countless seasons. Atop the pedestal rested a crystal orb that pulsed with a soft inner light. Drawn to its quiet allure, Asher stepped forward and peered into its depths. Inside the orb, scenes of wonder and melancholy flickered. Visions of a time when the forest was young, when magic flowed as freely as the wind. The orb's light revealed faces and places, fleeting moments of beauty and sorrow. Asher saw a child dancing with fairies beneath a cascade of moonbeams, and he witnessed a reunion between long-lost lovers beneath the arching boughs of a weeping willow. Each vision resonated with his soul, stirring in him a deep longing to understand the full spectrum of existence. He realized that every joy was intertwined with a hint of sorrow, and every moment of magic was born from the bittersweet tapestry of life. In that quiet reverie, the orb began to whisper softly. "I am Elian," it said, "the chronicler of time's hidden moments. I hold within me the stories of all who have walked these lands, their dreams, their hopes, and their silent laments. Listen well, for you are about to see your own reflection in the tapestry of ages." The words echoed inside Asher's mind, and as he listened, the visions in the orb grew more vivid. Scenes of triumph and despair, of love and loss, unfolded before him like the pages of an ancient tome. For a long time, he remained transfixed, absorbing each fleeting image, each emotion that surged through him. When the images subsided, the orb's light softened, and Asher felt a newfound determination stir within him. The weight of the visions had transformed into an understanding, a realization that the forest, with all its magic and mystery, was a mirror for the soul. Every creature, every whisper of wind and drop of dew reflected the myriad emotions that wove together the human experience. He closed his eyes, letting that truth sink into his heart, and then he moved on, carrying the orb's silent counsel with him. The next stretch of the journey took Asher through a dense thicket where the foliage was so rich that it seemed to form a living tapestry of greens and browns. The path here was less defined, and he had to rely on his intuition to find his way. The forest floor was carpeted with fallen leaves that crunched softly beneath his feet. Amid the shadows, delicate wildflowers peeked out, their petals glowing faintly in the darkness, as if illuminated by an inner flame. In the heart of this thicket, Asher encountered another guardian, a creature that appeared as a living embodiment of the forest's ancient wisdom. It was a stag of magnificent stature, with antlers that spiraled upward like the branches of an ancient tree. The stag's eyes held an almost human depth, filled with both kindness and the quiet sorrow of ages past. He stepped into Asher's path with a deliberate calm that belied his enormous size. The stag spoke without words, his gaze conveying an invitation to follow. Asher understood immediately and fell in step beside the gentle giant. The stag led him along a secret trail, one that wound through dense undergrowth and around natural clearings that glowed with bioluminescence. Along the way, the stag would pause and look back, as if ensuring that Asher was ready to witness the hidden truths of the forest. At one such pause, they arrived at a small grove where the ground was dotted with shimmering pools. In each pool, the surface was perfectly still, reflecting not only the starry sky above, but also images that seemed to come from within the observer's own soul. Asher peered into one of these pools and saw flashes of memories, moments of both joy and regret, victories and losses. The reflections were not mere images, but living echoes of his inner self. In that silent communion with the water, Asher felt the gentle pull of self-acceptance. The stag's presence was a quiet reassurance that every part of him, every scar, every hidden hope was as natural and necessary as the life teeming in the forest. Their journey continued beneath a canopy where the leaves whispered like ancient incantations. The path led them to a steep, winding ravine where a precarious stone bridge spanned a deep chasm filled with swirling mists. The bridge was old and weathered, yet it radiated a steadfast strength as if it had borne the weight of countless dreams over the centuries. Asher's heart pounded as he took his first tentative steps across. The stones underfoot were cool and uneven, each one a silent testament to time's enduring passage. Halfway across the bridge, the mists below began to part, revealing visions of the forest's hidden heart. In the swirling depths of the chasm, Asher glimpsed an ethereal light, pulsing with a gentle rhythm that matched his own heartbeat. It was as if the light beckoned him to believe in the possibility of transformation even in the midst of uncertainty. For several long moments, he allowed himself to be guided by that inner light, trusting that the bridge and his own resolve would carry him safely to the other side. When he finally reached the far bank, the stag had vanished into the mists as silently as he had appeared, leaving Asher to contemplate the symbolic nature of his journey. Every step, every guardian, every hidden vista was a lesson in trust and acceptance. The forest was not simply a place of external wonders, but a realm where the internal landscape was revealed, layer by gentle layer. As Asher wandered further, the terrain began to shift once more. The forest gave way to a series of natural terraces, each more surreal than the last. In one such terrace, the ground was covered with soft, luminescent moss that pulsed gently with each step he took. Overhead, the trees formed a delicate lattice through which shafts of moonlight cascaded like ribbons. Here, the atmosphere was charged with quiet celebration, a celebration of life's continuous unfolding. Every petal, every leaf, every glimmer of starlight was a note in the symphony of existence. In the center of this terrace, Asher discovered a hidden alcove carved into the side of a cliff. The alcove was filled with delicate crystals that caught the moonlight and scattered it in dazzling patterns on the walls. It was a place of deep, silent beauty, a sanctuary for contemplation. Asher felt compelled to explore every nuance of this crystalline wonder. He ran his fingers over the cool surfaces, marveling at the intricate patterns that resembled frost on a window pane. In the reflective surfaces of the crystals, he saw not only his own face but also fleeting images of his past. Moments of laughter, quiet introspection, and the bittersweet pang of memories, both cherished and lost. There, in that serene alcove, time seemed to stretch into infinity. The silence was profound, broken only by the gentle tapping of droplets that occasionally escaped from the crystalline formations. Asher settled onto a smooth ledge, closing his eyes to absorb the profound stillness. In that moment, he allowed his mind to wander freely through the corridors of memory and imagination. The alcove became a mirror for his soul, reflecting the delicate interplay of light and shadow within him. Each glimmer of light from the crystals whispered a secret of healing and renewal, urging him to accept every facet of his being. Refreshed by this intimate communion with the forest's inner sanctum, Asher rose and resumed his journey along a narrow, winding path that led deeper into the unknown. The air here was filled with a quiet magic, a palpable sense that every step was imbued with possibility. The foliage grew denser, and the sounds of the forest became a layered tapestry of soft calls, distant echoes, and the rhythmic cadence of nature's pulse. Soon, Asher arrived at a natural amphitheater formed by a circle of ancient stone pillars, each covered in delicate emerald moss and lichen. Between the stones, vibrant wildflowers bloomed, their colors vivid against the stone's muted tones. This sacred space, seemingly untouched by time, thrummed with a silent energy. It was here that the forest gathered its collective memory, where the laughter of long-forgotten days and the whispered hopes of tomorrow intermingled in an endless, timeless dance. In the heart of the amphitheater, a solitary figure emerged from behind one of the pillars. A woman whose presence radiated both warmth and melancholy. She wore a simple tunic that blended seamlessly with the natural hues of the forest, and her hair cascaded like a waterfall of stardust over her shoulders. Her eyes, deep and compassionate, met Asher's with a look of profound recognition. "I am Rihanna," she said softly, her voice a gentle ripple that merged with the ambient sounds of the night. "I tend to the echoes of the past and the dreams of the future. Every stone in the circle holds a story, a fragment of a memory, a fleeting moment of love, loss, and longing. Here in this sacred space, you are invited to share in those echoes. Let the voices of the past guide your understanding of the present and the promise of tomorrow." Rihanna extended her hand, and Asher felt an irresistible pull to join her in a slow, deliberate dance around the stone pillars. With each step, the ground beneath him vibrated with the echoes of forgotten voices. Rihanna's presence was both a comfort and a revelation. She seemed to embody the very essence of the forest's ancient soul. Together, they circled the pillars, pausing at intervals to listen to the murmurs of the stones. Each pause revealed a fleeting vision, a couple embracing under a weeping willow, a solitary wanderer sharing a silent moment with the stars, the gentle unfolding of a new leaf in the early light of dawn. As they moved, the atmosphere grew richer, the air charged with a profound mixture of joy, sorrow, and quiet wonder. Rihanna's soft laughter occasionally broke the reverie, a sound that was as delicate and fleeting as the petals of a night-blooming flower. In her eyes, Asher saw a reflection of his own hidden depths, a mirror to the parts of himself he had long kept locked away. Without words, she conveyed a message that every emotion, every memory was a vital thread in the tapestry of life, and that to deny any of them was to deny the fullness of one's own being. Eventually, the circle of pillars led them to a narrow passageway carved into a rocky hillside. The passage was lined with creeping vines that twined around the stones, their leaves catching the last glimmers of moonlight. As they walked, the passage opened into a vast cavern, its ceiling lost in shadow and its walls adorned with ancient carvings. These carvings depicted scenes of transformation, a serpent shedding its skin, a phoenix rising from embers, a solitary figure embracing both light and darkness. The cavern exuded an aura of profound transformation, and as Asher and Rihanna stepped deeper, the air itself seemed to vibrate with the promise of renewal. In a secluded nook of the cavern, a natural spring bubbled up from a fissure in the rock. The water was imbued with a soft, ethereal glow, and its gentle burble formed a serene melody that resonated with the very core of Asher's being. Rihanna knelt beside the spring and cupped her hands to drink. "This is the waters of renewal," she whispered. "They hold the power to wash away the old and prepare the heart for a new beginning. Drink and let the burden of your past dissolve into the light." Asher hesitated for a moment before following her example. The water was cool and refreshing, and as it flowed down his throat, he felt as if he were releasing years of unspoken sorrow and regret. The glow of the spring deepened, and for a time he saw flickers of what could be, a future unburdened by the weight of old memories, a life filled with the promise of transformation and quiet hope. After a long while in the cavern, absorbing the myriad lessons whispered by the ancient carvings and the rejuvenating song of the spring, Asher and Rihanna emerged back into the open forest. The night had deepened into a velvet darkness, studded with countless stars. The landscape before them was transformed, a blend of ethereal light and shadow, where every rustle and shimmer felt like a step toward deeper understanding. Their path led them along a ridge where the trees thinned and the landscape opened up to a panorama of the entire forest. The sight was breathtaking, a mosaic of ancient woods, rolling hills, and sparkling streams under a celestial dome. Rihanna pointed silently to the horizon where the first hints of a new dawn tinged the sky with delicate hues of amber and violet. In that moment, the forest seemed to pause, as if holding its breath in anticipation of a transformation that was both inevitable and wondrous. Together, Asher and Rihanna traversed this ridge, their footsteps light and deliberate. as if they were treading on the threshold of a dream yet to be fully realized. Every step was imbued with the lessons of the journey, the soft acceptance of the flow of time, the tender remembrance of what had been, and the quiet excitement for what might come. Their silent communion spoke of a deep understanding that the forest was not merely a place, but a living, breathing reflection of the soul's journey toward wholeness. As the ridge gently sloped downward, the forest took on an even more surreal quality. The trees grew taller and closer together, their trunks lined with luminescent moss, and the air thrummed with the energy of countless unseen lives. Here, hidden among the dense foliage, was a secret sanctuary, a natural courtyard encircled by ancient, twisting trees whose roots formed intricate patterns on the ground. In the center of this living courtyard, a stone dais rose imperceptibly, covered in delicate vines and crowned with a ring of softly glowing crystals. The dais was a silent altar to the forest's eternal cycle of renewal, a place where every heartbeat echoed the timeless rhythm of nature. Rihanna stepped forward and gently brushed her fingertips over the cool surface of the stone. "This is where the forest shares its deepest secrets," she murmured. "Here, in the quiet convergence of nature's energy, you will find that every ending is simply the threshold of another beginning." In that sacred space, the atmosphere vibrated with an almost palpable intimacy. The air was thick with the fragrance of wild blossoms and ancient earth. Asher felt as if he was suspended in a moment where all the lessons of the forest converged into a single luminous truth. With eyes closed, he allowed himself to become fully present in the energy of the days, feeling the pulse of the earth and the gentle caress of the night. In the heart of that moment, memories and visions flowed through him like a gentle stream. Images of long-forgotten laughter, echoes of tender embraces, and the quiet joy of rediscovering parts of himself that had lain dormant. The silent communion with the living earth was both healing and transformative, filling him with a deep, abiding sense of belonging. Every breath he took was infused with the essence of the forest, and every beat of his heart was a quiet celebration of the life that thrived in the interplay of light and shadow. time seemed both to stand still and to stretch on indefinitely as Asher remained in that sacred courtyard, absorbing the forest's wisdom. There, under the canopy of ancient trees and amidst the soft glow of the crystals, he discovered that the forest was not simply an external realm of enchantment, but a mirror for the journey within. A journey of rediscovery, acceptance, and infinite possibility. As the hours melted away, the forest continued its silent symphony around him. Shadows lengthened and softened, and the luminescence of the flora took on an otherworldly quality, bathing every leaf and stone in a tender, surreal glow. Every sound, the rustle of a passing breeze, the distant call of a nocturnal bird, became a note in the forest's grand melody, echoing the themes of transformation and renewal that had carried him thus far. In this timeless space, Asher felt a deep stirring in his soul, a quiet calling towards something greater than the sum of his experiences. The forest had become a vast, living archive of every emotion, every memory, and every dream he had ever known. And in that silent communion with the eternal pulse of nature, he began to understand that the journey was not about reaching a destination, but about embracing every step of the transformation, every lesson learned along the way. For what felt like an eternity, Asher remained in that sacred space, allowing the forest's magic to seep into every fiber of his being. The interplay of light and shadow, joy and sorrow, hope and regret, each element blended together to form a rich tapestry that mirrored the very essence of life itself. In that profound silence, every unanswered question and every lingering doubt slowly dissolved into the comforting certainty of nature's embrace. Eventually, a subtle shift in the atmosphere signaled a new phase of the journey. The soft glow of the crystals dimmed slightly, and the cool night air began to carry the promise of a new chapter. With a final, lingering look at the sacred dais, Asher rose, filled with the quiet resolve that every moment in the enchanted twilight forest was a step toward a deeper, more authentic understanding of himself. As he moved away from the living courtyard, the forest seemed to open up once more. The dense canopy gave way to a gentle slope where the terrain was dappled with the first light of approaching dawn. Here, The forest retained its magic, but it also carried an undercurrent of anticipation, a promise that, beyond the mysteries of the night, lay a world transformed by the quiet power of introspection and renewal. With each step, Asher felt the gentle persistence of the forest's heartbeat, synchronizing with his own. The journey had taken him through hidden glades, ancient amphitheaters, and crystalline sanctuaries, each encounter revealing a facet of the forest's timeless soul and, in turn, reflecting a facet of his own. In that convergence of nature and spirit, he discovered that every moment was a thread woven into the grand tapestry of existence. The forest stretched before him like an endless corridor of wonder, inviting him to continue exploring its myriad secrets. And as he ventured onward, he carried with him the echoes of every guardian he had met. Miles, Silas, the wise stag, the murmuring orb of Elayan, and the gentle Rihanna, all of whom had imparted their quiet wisdom. Their voices, soft as the rustle of leaves in a midnight breeze, guided him deeper into the heart of this enchanted realm. Step by step, Asher became not merely a wanderer in the forest, but an integral part of its living narrative, a soul intertwined with the ancient magic of the twilight, forever transformed by the quiet wonders that had revealed the depth and breadth of his inner world. So, dear listeners, thank you for joining us on this magical journey. As our tale of the enchanted twilight forest gently winds down, allow the whispers of nature and the soft glow of starlight to guide you into a deep, restorative sleep. Remember, every rustle of the leaves and every shimmer of moonlight carries a secret promise of hope and renewal. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to Dreamy Sleep Tales. Don't forget to like, share, and leave a comment on what topic you'd love for the next video. We truly appreciate your support and feedback. May your dreams be filled with endless magic and gentle mystery. Until next time, rest well and let the enchantment of the night carry you safely into a realm of peace and quiet.